This is an achievement guide for the Clark County Commander achievement in Jurassic World Evolution 3. You will get 30 gamer score for defeating the Clark County Challenge on Jurassic difficulty. Clark County Finances is the third challenge in the game, and it's not too bad. The main hurdle that we need to overcome here is that you inherit a park that's in pretty bad shape. There are buildings that need maintenance, there are fences that are broken, enclosures that do not meet the dinosaurs' environmental needs, dinosaurs that have escaped, lots of things that are going on that need immediate attention, and the park is losing money, and you have limited funds to be able to fix everything and get the park up and operational and generating a profit. If you can do that, and you can do so in about 5 to 10 minutes, if you've done that, the park is safe and secure and generating profit, you're pretty much on cruise control at that point. Then you're just playing the game. You're doing research, you're improving the database of dinosaurs that you have available, you're building new attractions and making new enclosures, and you're just, again, playing the game without too many curveballs until you have reached and accomplished all of the goals that the challenge sets out for you. Once you do that, the challenge will be complete and you'll have this achievement unlocked. As you can see, the par time for this one is 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I think that's doable. This one can kind of bog down. It just depends on how quick you can grind through research and fossils and dinosaur species. If you're super efficient, it's not going to be a problem, but you can get bogged down. My medium difficulty playthrough took about 3 hours and some change, and that was with me without rushing. I think that I can get under the par time, but again, I am almost positive that the par time won't matter for unlocking the achievement. You just have to not fail, eventually complete all the objectives. Whether you beat the par time or not, the achievement should unlock. So with that out of the way, let's get into the run. So as usual, we want to skip the cinematic to get into the game right away so we're not wasting time or resources. And then what we want to do right away is pause the game, because as I said, you're just losing money and things are in a bad shape. We need to do a lot very quickly. And so the ability to pause is great here. If they made you keep progress going at normal speed, this would be way more difficult. So with things paused, we can get a little bit of a view of the park and see where our problems are going to arise. Okay, so we can see we have broken fences, things that need maintenance. You don't start with any power. It's just backup generators. And we've got some dinosaurs that are escaping out of the park. Now, before we can recapture the dinosaurs, we need to have our ranger station be operational again. So the first thing we need to do is have our maintenance team fix the ranger station. And then after that, we want to get the broken fences fixed. And then we can start going through less prioritized fixes, and we'll kind of do it in order so they can just go down the chain there without wasting too much time driving between places. And that's maintenance team 1 or 2, and now we'll also use maintenance team 1. Can we reach? I don't know if we can reach this back fence area. We'll try until I get a gate in there. I don't know if they'll be able to reach through this little alleyway. But we'll actually, so because of that, let's do the other stuff first. We'll leave that. We'll start here, repair, 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 and repair. And again, we don't want to repair more than we need to because each repair costs money and we have very little money to start. This area up here, we won't need. We could actually sell off some of these fences, but it's not worth a whole lot. And we do eventually need to repair these, the science center, but you can see 200,000 and we only have $1 million to start. So we're going to need that money for other things. Okay, so I think that's the first thing we need to do. Let's unpause the game, but we'll go at slow speed until we get a handle here. Right now, we could take manual control of our helicopter, but it is really hard to wrangle in these tiny dinosaurs with a manual aim. So I'll go over here just for a second to see if we can get them, but most likely I'll just let the computer control do it once that building's been repaired.
A comfortable dinosaur is one that's significantly easier to manage. Keeping them content should be a priority.
Okay, pretty sure the building is repaired, so let's just have the helicopter do this. We will add the task. And there we can see our maintenance Jeep has done the repairs. And now we can transport the dinosaurs back into their cage.
Asset requiring collection. Asset to be collected. En route to collect the asset.
We'll put the Dilophosaurs down too, because they would eventually break out anyway. Okay, that fixes the immediate problems. Now we need to start getting the dinosaurs' needs met so that they're happy. Okay, so we need some water over here for these guys.
Transporting asset.
I did not mean to do that. Okay, so these guys need some water. Let's get that put in.
Asset has been transported. Asset transported.
And we need to do some status checks on the other dinosaurs. So we're going to need to get ranger stations in. And can we split one here between the two? I think that'll be okay. No, let's do this. We'll put one.
Asset has been transported.
We'll put one here. We're going to use this space shortly. And then we'll put a second one here to cover both of these two cages. And then one more for these two cages.
Performing patrol duties. Adding to the list.
Request acknowledged.
Resuming patrol.
Task received.
On my way for that repair. It's on the to-do list. Heading to pick up the asset.
Okay, we can see we got the status check on these guys. They need ground fiber and ground leaf. And now they should be happy. Okay, we're in pretty good shape. I think we can get our first set of guest buildings down. Let's get a restroom. An emergency shelter.
Is now open to use for whenever nature calls.
And then we can do a set of amenities. And we want to get these as high as we can so that we're, once again, trying to get a profit generated. Okay, with that up and running, let's check our status. And we're just a little bit in the negative. I think that will come up if we just, okay, dinosaur welfare, and then also we can throw down a hotel. Have we gotten our status check here? Okay, that makes the Gallimimus happy. That makes the Styracosaurs happy. So then we just have the Dilophosaurus, and what do they need? I think they're okay. They just need prey. And then let's wake these guys up.
Asset to be collected. Picking up asset.
Okay, I think that should make all of the dinosaurs happy. Great, and now you can see we already have a 34,000 profit per minute, so we're in good shape. Let's throw down a save, which I would also recommend you do in your run, because then you can always come back if you screw something up. We've gotten through the first part, the hard part. The rest should be pretty straightforward. We will have to push if we want to beat that par time, which I'm going to try to do, but it should not be necessary for the achievement, which is the ultimate goal here. Okay, the other thing we can do to make money, always come in here and check contracts. Big infusions of cash for usually not too much. We're not going to do research. We will do dinosaur welfare. I think we can get that to 100% here and snag that cash very quickly. And then we are advancing slowly here. Oh, I didn't think we may. Some of them want extra adults in the park, and we may not be able to satisfy that in time. Okay, so the other thing we can do to get some cash is use the fossil research team. So we're looking for cheap excursions here, 21,000. We have a scientist always that has the faster expeditions, so we'll send them off, and they usually come back with fossils that we can sell. That will sell for more than the cost of the expedition to once again improve our cash flow. Okay, the other thing we're going to do is start to build out our our hatchery so that we can get some additional dinosaurs in the park. So most of this area is flooded. So we want to try and get rid of the water so that we can build here.
Transporting asset.
And we've got those fossils coming back. Let's check on them first.
Please remain calm and proceed.
Asset transported.
And while we're waiting for that, great. Okay, so we did complete the contract. And while we're waiting for that, let's make sure we've got maintenance posts
I
up
often
and
have my
running.
head wrapped up in bigger picture planning. It's nice to know that the hard work on the ground is being handled so expertly.
And now. Confirmed. Controlling the area.
Okay, we've got our research center fixed, and we can see, look at tons and tons of cash that also pays for the cost of the repair of the research center as well. So let's get those sold. And we do want to be a little selective about which dinosaurs we start researching because it is expensive and we have some good cash flow at the moment, but not unlimited. So let's get our next expedition out. And once again, we'll pick the cheap one to try and get some fossil returns. And now we're going to start building our expanded hatchery from the fenced in area here. And once again, we can see well over 200 grand in terms of sellable minerals. Okay, so let's try and make these guys happy. Oh yeah, let's get a gate. So we can access that. Let's get a gate here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new viewing gallery, ready for you to observe our magnificent animals.
All right, and let's see if we can get the Coriosaurus research so that we can get them some additional companions so they're happy. Yep, there we go. And we're in good shape now. Let's get the hatchery down. And also conveniently, we have one scientist with faster synthesis and one with faster incubation. So we can use both of those to get some early dinosaurs up and running. So I think at this point, the million is pretty valuable. So I am going to take that. It'll cost us just one egg. The eggs are nowhere near that expensive. Sabotage risk, we don't really have any super dangerous dinosaurs, anything that I'm really worried about. So I think I'm going to go for the million there. That basically doubles our cash. That's a big win right now.
Scheduling check.
And at this point, the other thing we can do, it's all about accommodation rating. Yeah, let's put a small hotel down just to fix the main complaint we have from our guests. They are expensive, but since we got that extra cash, that won't be a problem for us right now.
Synthesis procedure. Incubation personnel, please stand by. Ladies and gentlemen, for your comfort, we've increased the hotel capacity of the park.
All right, and one of the ways that you can fall behind on the par time is by not having enough expeditions running. So we're going to try to constantly keep those on a near continuous cycle.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Corythosaurus to the park.
You're really molding this place into shape. Personally, I hope that shape is a dollar sign.
All right, next are the Dilophosaurus. They also are a little bit short on companions, so we want to get those in there. And at this point, I don't think I care about the publicity rating. No, we're early on here. I think I'm going to be okay and just take the fossils.
Incubation. Asset requiring collection.
Some dinosaurs have a bias towards needing authority. The alpha tends to take that role. An organized group of dinosaurs can be a dangerous one, so we should keep an eye on this.
Okay, we are profitable. Let's see if we can get another contract in. Dinosaur fights, not something on our radar. Yeah, let's go for boosted appeal. That is the main goal anyway.
Security should be proactive first, instead of reactive to disaster later. From your recent performance, I think you understand that.
Thesaurus to the park. Asset has been collected. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased. Asset transportation in progress.
Okay, unlucky there. We got a storm with a powerful hurricane that landed right on our main part of the park there. So let's see if we can do some quick damage control here. So our backup generator got taken out, and I wonder if it would just be easier to build a new one. I think the cost is pretty cheap. Let's do that. We don't want to put it right in the storm, but we want to make sure it's powering our response center. Okay, well, let things go slow. I think we're okay here.
We're getting reports that some of the animals are experiencing heightened levels of stress. If the dinosaurs are on edge, it's only a matter of time until our guests are too. Let's get this under control.
We have detected power outages across the storm zone. Available personnel, please respond.
Okay, I think we're back up and running. We can just shut this generator off for now. And I think we got through that okay.
Delivery. Has been completed.
And we can see the Nasutoceratops get along well with these guys, so we can just let them out right into the same pen.
Any good manager has to know how to delegate, and I'm one good manager. Observe. I'm handing this task to you.
So I think the no deaths is the easiest one, but we get almost double for disease-free. And I'm almost positive we'll fail this at some point because we haven't gotten a disease yet. But we can then put down our Paleo Center, cure the disease, and then we'll still get this one. So I am going to take that for the extra 100K that's at stake there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Nasutoceratops to the park.
Okay, these guys need lots of cover. Ground leaf and water.
That looks like a lovely addition to the park. You're sure we're not spoiling the guests when we could be spoiling ourselves? Hmm?
And again, I think I'm going to take the million here. We don't really need these fossils. They're not vital to what we're trying to do. So the extra million, that'll be welcome. We'll take that. We're still trying to churn through all the fossils we've got in here. And again, we've got the Amagasaurus, and they are happy with their companions here, so we're going to release them, but we'll wait till the other batch is ready to go so that we don't have them. I think they'll be lonely if we just release one.
Procedure complete. Incubation personnel, please stand by.
This good work is going straight on your permanent record. I'm kidding. There is no permanent record. Not one that's written down, at least.
Okay, the next big bottleneck we have, as we can see, is the fossil processing. So let's see if we can get down an upgrade to increase our extraction capacity.
Procedure complete. Incubation personnel, please stand by.
Okay, we can see that now we have the requirements met for the fossil upgrades. We did the core upgrades, and we also found enough dinosaur genomes up to 50%. So this will, again, help us clear out the fossils, which is the big bottleneck we have right now. And at the same time, we've got some Myosauras ready for incubation to help us get additional dinosaurs and dinosaur species running here. Okay, we've got our fossil upgrades. Let's get the upgrade in place. And I think our other Myosaura is ready. And let me just check. I think these guys can go in the same pen. Yep, they are happy or neutral, so we'll do that. And let me just check the Amagasaura. Too few males. Okay, so we need to get them some males. We'll do that next.
One of the first dinosaurs discovered to have nesting colonies, the Myosaura is both social and relatively friendly. Its name means good mother lizard. And what an appropriate name it is.
Incubation complete. Prepare asset for release.
First thing they teach you in the real estate game is location, location, location. I think even the dinosaurs can understand that. So make sure your scenery delivers.
Okay, I think we've maxed out this pad, so now we're going to go for a second pen building off of this one. And I am going to leave room. Actually, let's just build it now, because at some point we are going to get a dinosaur disease, and we will need a paleo medical facility. And we'll put it here centrally located so it's quick to get to any dinosaurs that need it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be advised that our weather forecasts predict an incoming sandstorm.
And we did hear there's an incoming sandstorm, so let's go ahead and throw down a save.
Sandstorm threat level has been... Ladies and gentlemen, please shield your eyes and proceed to take cover until the sandstorm has passed.
And right on time, we get a sandstorm, which can cause some ailments. So let's get those diagnosed and taken care of.
Understood. Be there soon.
We have a sick animal that requires immediate care. If this happened in the wild, it could be in real trouble. But here we can help.
Confirming status.
We'll add it to the list. Adding to the list.
Wow, you're pretty impressive to see in action. Maybe I should be making notes on you instead of the dinosaurs.
Synthesis procedure complete. Incubation personnel.
Asset collection request received. Acknowledging asset collection request.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Psittacosaurus to the park.
Asset being transported.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Psittacosaurus to the park.
Commencing asset transit.
Ladies
Asset
and
delivery
gentlemen,
confirmed.
we are pleased to welcome a Psittacosaurus to the park.
Asset has been collected.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Psittacosaurus.
Confirm.
Okay, yep. Upgrading the building sounds like a good plan to me. After all, we want everything to be the highest quality we can afford.
You ever heard of a keystone species? It's one that has a disproportionate impact on their ecosystem compared to other organisms. You, my friend, are this company's keystone species.
Asset has been collected. Asset transported.
Synthesis procedure.
Heading to pick up the asset. Asset collected. transportation underway. Delivery has been completed. Asset being transported. Acknowledged. Request acknowledged. Asset transportation underway. Delivery complete.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new viewing gallery, ready for you to observe our magnificent.
Acknowledging asset collection request. Heading to collect the asset.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome an Oviraptor to the park.
Asset has been collected.
Oviraptor to the park. Ladies and gentlemen, please be advised that our
Asset
weather
in transit.
forecasts predict an incoming
Asset delivered.
Ladies and gentlemen, our weather forecast has been updated. The sandstorm threat level has been raised. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome an Oviraptor to the park.
Commencing asset transit. Asset has been transported.
Ladies and gentlemen, please shield your eyes and proceed to take cover until the sandstorm has passed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome an Oviraptor to the park.
Asset in transit. Asset has been transported.
Fine work. I respect someone who can get results, and get them fast.
Assets in the air. Asset transported.
You are quite the busy bee. Keep producing honey out of this place, and you and I will get along great. And just so we're on the same page by honey, I mean sweet, sweet cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, the sand... Please resume your normal activity. Ladies and gentlemen, and marvel at the sights with our newly opened balloon tour.
Asset to be collected. Asset collection request received.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Compsognathus to the park.
Transportation underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Compsognathus to the park.
Transporting asset.
This dinosaur has a bite much worse than its size suggests. The Compsognathus should never be underestimated, though I fear it often is. Let's make sure we educate the world about the reality of animals like this one.
Welcome across the campus to the park.
Asset transportation underway. Asset transported.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I spend a lot of time just observing the dinosaurs and making notes on their behavior. I lose hours like that, and that's time lost on my tasks, too. Could you help with this one?
Assets in the air. Delivery has been completed. It's on the to-do list.
crossing campus to the park.
Asset has been collected. Asset transported. Heading off to patrol.
Okay, understood. Look out here.
Delivery complete. Acknowledging asset collection request. Collecting asset.
Your new park colleagues joining us today.
Asset transportation in progress. Asset has been collected. Asset has been transported. Asset delivery confirmed.
New request received. Not a problem. We'll get to that next. Understood. We got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new viewing platform.
Collecting asset. En route to collect the asset. Asset transportation underway.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Dinosaurus to the park.
Transportation complete. Asset in transit.
Ladies and
Adding to
gentlemen,
the list.
we are pleased to welcome Lystrosaurus to the park.
Asset delivered.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Lystrosaurus to the park.
Commencing asset transit. Asset transportation complete. Picking up asset. Asset delivery confirmed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a
Asset transportation
Lystrosaurus to
in
the park.
progress. Asset transportation complete.
I couldn't be certain that joining this group would actually lead to helping the dinosaurs, but man, am I glad it is. And really, that's mostly down to your good work. Thank you.
This change in the dinosaurs has me concerned. When an animal panics, there's a reason behind it. And that reason, well, I hope we're ready for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Dimorphodon to the park. Ladies and gentlemen, for your comfort, we've increased the hotel capacity of the park. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Dimorphodon to the park. Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new viewing gallery, ready for you to observe our magnificent animals.
We want our guests to feel as comfortable as possible while they're here with us. Let's set up a new amenity and make this site feel like a home away from home. A home where the food and drink is reasonably priced, but a home nonetheless.
soon.
This good work is going straight on your permanent record. I'm kidding. There is no permanent record. Not one that's written down, at least.
Start the patrol. Performing patrol duties.
Okay, understood. Task received.
Ladies and gentlemen, our restroom is now open to use for whenever nature...
I couldn't be certain that joining this group would actually lead to helping the dinosaurs, but oh man, am I glad it is. And really, that's mostly down to your good work. Thank you.
Take a good look at this objective, then stop looking and get it done.
Picking up asset. Heading to collect the asset.
I'm not often impressed, but you earning this place that star? Nicely done.
The Dinosaurus is an impressively sized ornithomimosaurian, or ostrich dinosaur. And it certainly does bear a passing resemblance to ostriches considering its beak, feathers, and long neck. But I would emphasize passing resemblance. I've certainly never seen an ostrich this size or with arms like those.
Transit has commenced. Asset transported.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new viewing gallery, ready for you to observe our magnificent animals.
At this rate, you might finally unseat me as Employee of the Month. I mean, I choose who gets it, so you won't. But you still did a great job.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be advised that our weather forecasts predict an incoming sandstorm. Ladies and gentlemen, shield your eyes until the sandstorm has passed. Ladies and gentlemen, the sandstorm has now passed. Please resume your normal activity.
Asset to be collected. Heading to pick up the asset. Asset has been collected. Transit has commenced. Delivery complete.
Ladies Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Dino-Kyrus to the park.
Transporting asset. Delivery has been completed. Assets in the air. Asset transportation complete. Confirming asset delivery.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your comfort, we've increased the hotel capacity of the park. Ladies and gentlemen, for your comfort, we've increased the hotel capacity of the park.
Adding to the list. No problem. Incoming asset ID. Asset report incoming.
Adding task. En route to pick up the asset. Picking up asset. Asset requiring collection.
Incoming asset ID.
En route to pick up the asset. Asset to be collected.
We're both busy people, so let me be direct. I have a task I'd like completing, and I think you're the one for the job.
Commencing asset transit. Asset has been collected. Asset transportation in progress. Asset delivery confirmed. Asset has been delivered.
I often have my head wrapped up in bigger picture planning. It's nice to know that the hard work on the ground is being handled so expertly.
Asset report incoming. Receiving asset report.
Setting additional task. Right, the drones assigned. Added to the list. Collecting asset. En route to pick up the asset.
Ladies and gentlemen, where nature calls.
Transit has commenced.
Attention personnel. We have detected power outages across the site. Available personnel, please respond.
asset has been delivered.
There are no unimportant tasks. Small problems can snowball if they're not dealt with. So let's get on this now.
Synthesis procedure complete. Incubation personnel.
En route to pick up the asset. Confirming fast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome Dr. Jonah to our
transportation underway.
Security should be proactive first, instead of reactive to disaster later. From your recent performance, I think you understand that.
Attention personnel.
Delivery complete.
Ladies and gentlemen, after an unexpected outage, power has now been restored across the site. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Tapajara to the park.
Heading to collect the asset.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Tapajara to the park.
Asset in transit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Tapajara to the park.
Asset has been delivered. Commencing asset transit.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Tapajara to the park.
Delivery has been completed. Transporting asset. Asset transported.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome a Tapajara to the park. Ladies and gentlemen, go for the ride of a lifetime at our gyrosphere attraction. Ladies and gentlemen, we have added a new viewing gallery, ready for you, our magnificent animals.
Asset requiring collection.
Seeing your hard work here has really warmed my heart. Not as much as seeing the company's bank account recently, but...
Okay, I think we got it there. That's
Well
5 stars. And we just beat the par time, 2 hours and 24 minutes. That run, as I said, it went fairly smooth after the initial setup for getting the park into the profitable range. I was able to work on just one single hatchery, and we were constantly sending out fossil expedition teams to get new fossils. So we're making new dinosaurs to increase the number of dinosaurs, the species of dinosaurs that were in the park, to have more guests come. And then we also needed to do research to have different kinds of attractions to bring in those different types of guests. We did expand into the aviary and some of the flying dinosaurs. I had 2 separate aviaries up and running, and I was about to start expanding into Triceratops and some of the harder to research herbivores. You can't do all the big carnivores in this challenge. And before I was even able to put those down, we did reach the 5 stars. I will do a quick tour of the park here just to show off what the final park looks like so that you can kind of see where I went, what I did. If you skipped over some of the gameplay in the middle and you just want to see what the final park looks like, that will be right here. So we'll save our game there after the successful run. You can see I was dropping the Triceratops off. Okay, and we will pause the game. So if we zoom out into the map mode, we can see the start of the park is here. This is the arrival point. You can't change it. You can't move it. And so this is where kind of we're starting in this central area of the map. And there's tons of the map that I didn't touch, right? I did nothing up here. I never touched this original crashed out fence area. I did repair the science buildings that we had here. But again, there's an aviary up here. Never touched it, never repaired it from the beginning of the game. All of this empty space you could use if you want in your run. But what we did is started from this arrival point, and then we repaired and got up and running all of these small enclosures. These are the original Gallimimus, the Styracosaurus, the Dilophosaurus, and the Microceratus. So we got them enclosed and happy. And once that was done, we put our first amenities down in this location, and we started with small amenities. That got us into the positive. Then we started building out in this area over here, and we put down our first hatchery, and we expanded. There was the Corythosaurus were here. I expanded their pen and joined that in. We got the Corythosaurus. We got the Nasutoceratops here as well. We got the Amagasaurus, and I think what else? The Maiasaura as well, all in this big open pen. Lots of dinosaurs here, and then we made sure we had a viewing gallery so we could see them. We put down our paleomedical facility here because we needed access to a lot of dinosaurs, and this gave quick access to our MVU. Then we expanded a second pen here for some additional herbivores. We've got some of the very small dinosaurs here and some Edmontosaurus. They get along well together, and they fit within this one cage. And then we expanded to the south a little bit. We've got some Lystrosaurus, and we also had some of our very limited carnivores here in the Compsognathus and the Oviraptors. Then a little bit of a risky choice. Maybe I wouldn't go with these Dinoceras. These guys are very, very particular. They're super expensive to incubate, and they're really unhappy. They have a lot of needs. They have a lot of negative traits that you have to breed out. So I would maybe skip them, but they do raise the attraction level of the park. They get some guests in. So you can see that was nice to have them here in this little pen area, and that brought some guests down to this area of the park. I was thinking about expanding my next little amenities area here, but we didn't need to get to that. Then in speaking of those amenities, right? So you want different types of attractions. We've got the big viewing platform, and I positioned this to give some remote viewing into here. And then the big thing you need to do is make sure that you're meeting all of the needs of the park. And so you can check this status window, and if you come in here and look, you can see I've got everything's at 100%. Transport rating is a big one. You need upgraded paths, and then you need some kind of transport system. The Hyperloop is great because it's very small. You can go with a monorail if you want, but then we're going to be putting those stations around. You can see we've got a Hyperloop here. We've got a Hyperloop here. We've got one at the arrival point. And then I did expand out into this. This is a pre-built aviary that I repaired and expanded to get some flying dinosaur types in here. We went with the Dimorphodon. And then this, again, gives you remote access to this area of the park, and you can put a whole extra set of amenities out here. So I've got large amenities, and these weren't even doing the full capacity, but you can see this was just about enough. This was enough. With just one of each large type of amenity, you can get to the 500K. So maybe because these didn't fill up, what might make sense for your run is to, once you're researched the large amenities, maybe scrap these 1, 2, 3 medium amenities and put them here in the heart of the park. They will probably max out capacity, which will get you to that 500K amenity profit rating that you need for completing this challenge. And then on top of that, make sure you've got hotels, large hotels if you can. They bring in some of the luxury guests. And then it's just about increasing the species of dinosaurs and the attractions to get the rest of those guests in the park. So you can see if we go to our arrival point, we have general lots, nature lots, not a ton of luxury, but a pretty good amount of adventures. And so find attractions, more dangerous attractions. I was going to go for the zip line next to try and get some more of those adventure guests in. Again, we didn't even need to get there. So Once again, this is the park. I will just give a little zoom out. We've got our arrival point. We have maintenance facilities, capture response facilities. I did put up a power plant. We start with just the little generators. So I got a power plant. We repaired all of the original enclosures, expanded here, built a new enclosure here, expanded down to the south here as well, and got some of the more exotic dinosaurs. We got a little carnivore pen in this area. And this was going to be my Triceratops pen, but we didn't even land those, so they didn't need to be there. This is the last of the original pens, the Microceratus and the Dilophosaur. And then we repaired and went with this aviary, and then built a second aviary for a second species of flying type dinosaurs as well. And then we did a little base repair up here as well. So that's going to wrap this one up. The achievement guide for the Clark County Commander achievement in Jurassic World Evolution 3. Hope the video was helpful. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.